Hi everybody, how's it all going? Been a little while since my last one. I've been hoping to do things a bit more regularly, but time, what it's like, work and doing stuff at home. I'd like to do more regular videos, but just never seem to get time. Don't get enough time for a hobby generally. That's a complaint everyone's got, I imagine. But yeah, I have pressed on with the AWI stuff I've been doing, which has been collecting the forces for Battle of Trenton, which was basically Hessians against the Continentals. There were only a handful of actual British in it. I think in real life numbers there were 20 dismounted light dragoons. So for mine, I'm just going to use a pack of one pack of 6 from Perry. So yeah, it's basically Hessians against Continentals. This regiment is Losberg Fusiliers. They had orange facings. What I didn't think to do was, there might be Fusiliers, but they ought to have a grenadier company as well, which I forgot to do. I've got loads of grenadiers, but I only bought enough because there's 3 Fusilier regiments in this battle and 2 grenadiers. So I only bought enough grenadiers for the 2 grenadier regiments, which is RAL. I think they were a purely grenadier setup. So I'm now going to need to buy packs of grenadiers to fill out these Fusilier regiments. But I'm doing currently 24 figures to a unit. Put 6 grenadiers in now, they're going to have to go up to 30. Because otherwise I'm going to end up having wasted Fusilier figures. So I'm going to have to buy more. So this unit now is going to have 6 grenadiers tacked onto it. The grenadiers are basically the same figure as the Fusiliers, but with a grenadier head. There's partly started one. So that's my conundrum at the moment. Yeah, like I say, these are Losberg. I can't remember off the top of my head what the other ones are. There might be 2 Losberg units. No, maybe not. There's 2 RAL Grenadier units. Yeah, I think there's Losberg, Nipphausen, and I can't remember the other one. But anyway, I'm collecting these based on Land of the Free rules. And they've got the forces for Trenton sort of nicely laid out. You pick your own sort of number that you want for your units, what they call them, elements. Basically they go by a size of tiny, small, medium, large, and you just sort of choose what number of figures you want to be in an element. So I've gone for 24 as large, but now I'm going to have to go up to 30 for large. And I think I've got, it's divisible by 6, so it must be 18 for medium, 12 for small, 6 for tiny. That's what I'm doing. But anyway, I also use Land of the Free for French Indian War stuff as well. I like the rules. I like the way they organise the sort of forces as well. Anyway, yeah, I can scoot along so you can see them. Then I'll just twist them at an angle so you can see the whole lot in a kind of line. All Perry metal. flags are by Maverick. They're material flags I use. Yeah, nice figures. I'll just spin this a bit so that you can kind of see down the line sort of thing. There you go. My mate Paul said, why are they charging forward? They ought to be running the other way, because they got a bit of a hiding at Trenton, but they were, from what I've read about it and the forces I've looked at, they were outnumbered about 3 or 4 to 1, and they were surprised. The Hessians are meant to be a tough lot. But yeah, so that's the 24, and then like I say, there's going to be 6 grenadiers added to that. I'll just bring a couple close, well, bring more up close. Spread the command units out along through the bases. Sort of have a drummer on the end. I saw it somewhere, don't know where it was, saw a picture, and I got like drummers spread out. I thought, yeah, have one down the end, one middle-ish. See, I forgot to put the pupils on that standard bearer there, so he looks like a, I don't know, White Walker or something. Yeah, as always, Perry, lovely figures, generally. Yeah, you've got like a yellow and white stripy sash, commander. I'll just show you a better look at the flag. Nice flags, I always get Maverick. As I always get material. I'm not keen on paper flags. At least with material, if they get kind of squashed a bit in storage, you can just PVA them and shape them back up again, and obviously they don't tear either. So yeah, I always much prefer material, and they're not that bloody expensive. I mean, for 25mm scale, 28mm scale, they're only about £1, £1.12, something like that. Backs, yeah, it's like orange facings, and the Hessians coats are all lined red, so they've got like red turnbacks. Light keeps going a bit funny for some reason. And I'm also a bit not sure about the hair. Keep seeing different images. I don't know if they had like, there's some I've seen where they seem to have like normal coloured hair, and then I see quite a lot where they got the white hair, like it's either wigs or powdered hair or whatever. But I've got a book by Don Troiani on AWI stuff, and he's got a Losberg Fusilier white hair, so I thought, alright, I'll do them all in white. So I think all the Hessians are going to have the white hair. No idea why that was a fashion. Wearing wigs or powdering. I mean, especially some of the climates they fighting in, like in America, in North America, the climate there can get quite humid. You wouldn't think it'd be a great thing having powdered bloody hair or wigs on, would you? But for some reason it was a fashion. So yeah, that's the Losberg Fusiliers. There's also going to be this chap, Commander. The way the forces are laid out in, or the Trenton forces laid out, well, all the forces laid out, they're in groups. So this group I'm painting at the minute consists of these Mossberg Fusiliers, unit of Jaegers, unit of the tiny unit of British Dragoons, and a artillery element which can be three guns, and each group has a group leader, and this is going to be the group leader for this group. Got his name down somewhere, but I've got his name on my list because I've set all the lists out on pages on my iPad, so I know what I'm building and what I'm collecting towards. Yeah, so this would be the group leader for this group. It'll be on a circular base, and I'm going to use some of these figures to flesh the base out. These are Perry. These are actually, stand up, there's a pack of 6, similar to that. Bloody hell. They're garrison musketeers. So I thought that, it is a garrison town, Trenton, so thought I'd use them for decorating or filling out the command bases. So got that, there's like a few like that, well, a pack of 6, and they're all along those lines, like that. And then there's a command pack of garrison musketeers as well. He could work as if he was mounted, he could work as a group commander, but I'll have him on a base like. Oh, some good figures in this command pack. I like this drummer. He's finding the day a bit hard by the looks of it, as it was for them, because they got a bit of a hiding. But like I say, it's to be expected, really. Surprised and outnumbered. And then there's a couple of standard bearers as well. I think actually I'm gonna, these standard bearers out of this pack, I'm going to put in the RAL Grenadier. No, that's not standard bearers, a bloke drinking out. Yeah, it is. You've got standard bearer drinking out of his canteen. I'm going to put them in the RAL Grenadier units because I didn't buy. There are like dedicated RAL Grenadier packs from Perry, but I went for just the standard Grenadier ones. And the Grenadier packs don't have command figures, but the they don't have standard bearers, but the RAL regiment does have standard bearers. So they just want one for each. One will be having the regiment flag, and one will be having the, I can't remember the names of the flags, but anyway, they've got the 2 different flags. So I'm going to have one standard bearer in each regiment, in each Grenadier unit. There's the other one here, I think. It don't matter that they're wearing musketeer hats because they had all sorts in the command units, didn't they? Miters and bicorns. So yeah, command groups will be fleshed out with these garrison troops on the bases, and the RAL Grenadiers will have the 2 standard bearers from that garrison command group. Right, so that's the AWI stuff for the moment. I'm part way through doing the 6 Grenadiers now. I think I'm going to just press on doing the Hessians. I was going to sort of alternate, do a group of Hessians, group of Continentals, but I don't know. At the moment I'm enjoying painting the Hessians, so I think I'll just carry on with them for now. Right, that's that. Now another sort of diversion. Something I've been planning to do for at least 4 years. I just keep getting, well, I don't get very far with it. Basically, these are the relatively new French dragoons from Victrix. Lovely figures. They had a sale, so I ended up with 2 packs of. Well, again, I think I've got 2 packs of dragoons, 2 of their lancers, and 2 of the new Chasseur Cheval of the Guard. What did I get? Nothing. I just got 1 dragoon pack, I think. Yeah. But anyway, these are the dragoons. But I'm using them for French gendarmerie in the peninsula, and their task was like to go hunting for Spanish guerrillas, basically. And they all had these like elite shoulder pads, bloody epaulets, and bicorn hats rather than, you know, helmets or shakos or whatever. So I took the bicorn hats from the Victrix early French, or bicorn heads from the Victrix early French. These plumes, you get them as part of the dragoon pack because they go on the side of the helmet on some of them, but they've fitted nicely on top of these bicorns, so I stuck them on there because they have got a big plume. This is something I'd really like to get moving on, but I need Spanish troops. I suppose I could just concentrate on doing the French because I think I've got everything I'd need for a French force. I was thinking doing it for sharp practice because I've got a list, downloaded a list from the website for a Peninsular War French, like they call it flying column, something like that, I think they called it. But anyway, it's like groups that go out looking for guerrilla fighters, and you know, going through villages, seeing if they're, you know, if they're hiding guerrillas or keeping stores for them and weapons, doing that kind of thing. So yeah, I think I've got everything I need for the French, to be honest, because I'm also using the Perry, you know, they brought out the French sets because they had a French set out for, you know, for years, and then they brought 2 newer ones out that were basically for the kind of 1807 to 1812, something like that. I can't remember what year it was, but anyway, earlier, slightly earlier French anyway. And not only did they do, you know, the basic troops for that, they did an elite box set. So that set's got all epaulette arms, which is what I need for the foot versions. So yeah, I'm going to use a box of them to make up the foot troops, the foot gendarmes. Again, I'll just use I could buy the Perry metal heads maybe, but I've got some sprues of some spare sprues of these early French, and obviously I can, you know, tell the plumes work well, so I'll probably use those heads to make up the troop, the foot gendarmerie. And I'm trying to think what the other unit is. I think it's unit of mounted gendarmerie, 2 or 3 of foot, and then there's a couple of units of Voltigeurs, and I've got them as well in metal. So I've got the French sort of force for the sharp practice for that. It's just Spanish I lack. I've got some guerrillas. I've only got like 30 actual Spanish troops, I think. I got a pack from 3 armies before they got bought by Warlord, and then Warlord re-released them in that resin, which a lot of people didn't seem to like. I'm tempted to try them though, because they're fairly cheap. Get a box and see what they're like. But yeah, I really need to buy, for that kind of thing, I want sort of Spanish in mixed gear, you know, which Perry do. They do units, they do packs where they've got civilian and actual military uniform mixtures. So yeah, I need to get more Spanish, but it's bloody affording, isn't it? Because as you're about to see, I'm on something else at the minute as well. So anyway, yeah, look, I really quite look forward to painting these. Gendarmerie got a good uniform. It's kind of like a mustardy yellow breeches and waistcoat. Obviously blue coat, red epaulets, red facings. Be a decent looking unit when they're painted. But yeah, that's when I get round to it. But yeah, at least it's, like I say, at least I've got all the French. I think I've got all the French I need for it. So that's something at least. Next thing then, the mighty British Empire, which is, I don't know, seems to be becoming a dirty word or a dirty term with some people. I don't know what the hell's wrong with them. All this nonsense about apologising for the British Empire. You won't find any apologists on this channel, I'm afraid. British Empire's a great thing. Don't care what anyone says. Yeah. So my mate Paul, he's been doing Second Boer War, Anglo-Boer War, and he keeps bloody well badgering, pestering me, sending me pictures of stuff, telling me what, I mean, obviously we like to know what each other's doing, but I can tell he's just trying to get me back into that period, just pecking away at me. And eventually I caved in because I've always fancied doing Boer War. I mean, I knew there were 2 Boer Wars, but I didn't know the difference between them. I always got put off doing Boers because I thought there weren't enough variety of figures about. But I started looking around out of curiosity because, you know, Paul banging on about it, and I thought, well, I'll have a look, and because I think he kind of thought the same, there weren't much about, so I started looking into it to see what stuff I could point him in the direction of. And obviously then that started getting me interested again, and I've already got a lot of colonial British because I was doing the Sudan, which I'm definitely going to go back to soon because I just love colonial period, British colonial stuff. It's just brilliant. Even in their drab khaki, British troops just look better than anyone else. And they're just like really nice to paint. Yeah, so I've got some boxes of Anglo-Zulu War British, and I've got some boxes of Zulus, but for some reason the AZW was kind of last on my list of the sort of colonial conflicts I was interested in. I was more interested in Sudan, then Afghanistan, then AZW, and I hadn't even thought of Boer because, like I said, I thought there was not enough figures around, so I didn't want to get frustrated at not being able to find anything decent for it. So I kind of dismissed Boer War. And then Paul said, like I said, I didn't know the difference. I saw 2 Boer Wars, didn't know anything about them. But I did know that the British were in, you know, they'd moved into their khaki uniforms by that time because it was getting, you know, not far from World War One really. I had no idea that the first Boer War, they were still in their Zulu War uniforms, which Paul pointed out, and that made me start thinking then, now I could do it. And I'd looked around and seen there were actually more Boers around than I thought, figure ranges. So did the usual, picked out a few, put together a few Brits, started painting them, and then I got hooked. So I'm on Boer War, first Boer War at the moment. So these are Perry plastics. I picked out the battle of, well, there was only about 3 battles anyway, but I picked out Majuba Hill. I got a book on Majuba Hill, and I was sort of fixed on doing Majuba Hill, and then I thought, well, looking at a couple of the other engagements, and there was one, I can't pronounce the name, can't remember it, but it was like a convoy got attacked. I thought, well, you need a lot of wagons for that, and it's a bit of a linear type of thing. Although I do want to get a lot of wagons. And then there was another engagement called Lang's Neck. I quite like the sound of that one. So I got this book. It's an Osprey one on Majuba Hill, and it got all the info about Lang's Neck, and it told you all the troops that were in it. So I made up my army list. I was kind of casting around, really trying to think what rules to use for it. I've got this set up in PDF called Rampant Colonialism. I started looking through that and thought, I might use these. I was looking at Sword and Flame as well. I'm not sure. Sword and Flame's got like a card element to it where you get events happening, which I like the sound of, because I was reading about some of these battles, and you've got like Boer sharpshooters picking away at the artillery and the horses and that. You've got horses bolting, charging around, causing chaos. I thought I'd like something that reflected that in the battles. So I'm kind of torn between Rampant Colonialism, Sword and Flame, and Sharp Practice, because Sharp Practice also has a bit of a chaotic element to it. So at the moment I'm erring more towards Rampant Colonialism. I'm going to see if I could sort of work some random event thing into it, because I got the event cards for Sword and Flame. I got them from Virtual Armchair General, a US company. I think it's a bit too pricey, because when I got those, shipping prices were a bit more reasonable, but they've all shot up between us and the US. So I don't know if I'd be able to order any more of those cards, but I've got some anyway. Anyway, but that's just rules. I've got the forces sorted out. I know what's in it. This is basically the start of the British. There's going to be 4 companies. No, 5 companies of these. And I'm going to be doing 6-figure companies. This is the 58th. They're black. What passes for facings is basically like black on the cuff there, and black on the collar. I mean, the collar is meant to be just the front sort of tab, but I did it all the way around just to define things a bit more. So that's 58th, and they're actually from my old home county, Northamptonshire. So that's the beginnings there. These were just like sort of test figures, really, to see how I was going to paint them. Focus. These are painted using mostly foundry triads. So I've got the British Redcoat triad, which I've used on them. Trousers, I've used their French blue triad, which works good, which I think I'm going to use on those Hessians from now on, because the Hessians I used Vallejo Prussian blue, the black wash, and then Prussian dark blue, black wash, then highlighted again with Prussian dark blue, then highlighted with Prussian blue. But I kind of like this. This French blue is a nice dark blue. I mean, found you also do a Prussian blue triad, so I might buy that and try it out, but thinking of trying that. But yeah, that's the 58th, or it will be the 58th. There'll be obviously what, 60 of those then, because there's going to be 5 companies on. There was also, I've got a list of the British forces. There was the 58th, 60th Rifles, which you'll see in a minute. They had a mounted squadron, which consisted of King's Dragoon Guards, the 60th Mounted Infantry and 58th Mounted Infantry. So I'm going to do sort of 3 groups of 10, I think, for that, mounted troops. Yeah, 1 for each of them. Then there was artillery and rockets, and then it was like medical corps, and in their Sudan range, Perry do a nice medical unit. Got like surgeons, orderlies, people on stretchers. So I'm going to use those. They're really nice. Also there was Naval Brigade. The Naval Brigade were wearing helmets, pith helmets. I've ordered them from Empress. I'm waiting to come, but they don't. They only have like the basic sailor hats or Senate hats. So my plan is to cut the heads off and use the covered helmets from the Perry Afghanistan British box set. Hopefully it'll work. I'm not big on converting even heads. I can't be asked doing, but I'll try it. So yeah, it'd be a nice varied force as well, because obviously you got like the red coats, and you got the rifles are in dark green. You got the artillery in blue. You got navy in blues. Be quite a nice looking force to do. So yeah, looking forward to that. And the Boers, I mean, when you it's almost laughable, not laughable because people are getting killed, but I think the British force was about 3 times the bloody size of the Boers, and they had artillery and rockets, and they got absolutely thrashed, the British. I mean, I'm going to have about 40 Boer figures, I think, you know, kind of looking at the forces and extrapolating there. It works out there were, you know, probably about 40 Boers, 120 British altogether, something like that. It's hard to see how the Boers could win, but they did. So yeah, that's the 58th. This is going on a bit, isn't it, really? Don't know if you're still with me. And this is the 60th, or the beginnings of the 60th. It's just like a few tester figures. Now these ones are actually Warlord plastics. I wasn't sure about them, but I remembered I'd got a free sprue from War Games Illustrated from a while ago, so I dug that out, managed to find that. I thought I'll try them out, because the only thing about the Perry set, Perry's obviously lovely figures, but they're all in these standing poses. I mean, obviously got some fire in, but you know, I imagined rifle unit being a bit more, you know, firing and rifly. So I wanted some kneeling poses. So I tried this sprue out, and I wasn't expecting much, but then I was quite impressed when it came together. I mean, when you see them side by side, Perry's are taller and slimmer. The Warlord are shorter and stockier. But, you know, on the table, they're going to be separate units anyway. You ain't going to notice that. But yeah, I'm quite impressed with these. So impressed, I've ordered more actually. I've got quite a lot of these coming actually at some point. But yeah, 60th Rifles, they were in dark green and sort of black equipment. And they had a rather poorly painted Maltese cross as their helmet badge. Not focusing. There you go. Yeah, bit of a dodgy looking Maltese cross, but you can tell it's meant to be something like that. So I scraped off the ridge on the plastic that runs down the centre there to make it easier to paint on. Still didn't do a very good job of it, but there you go. Yeah, dark green uniform, and I used the foundry Russian uniform, Napoleonic Russian uniform triad for that. It's so dark it's almost black, which is actually authentic for both of these. The Russian Napoleonic uniform was like that. It was almost black, and so were the rifles, and obviously say black equipment and webbing and everything. The only colour were these little knots, flashes on the sleeves and little collar tabs. For these ones I did just do the actual front tabs rather than go all the way around. The helmets, painted them white, and this was a tip from Paul. He's got the Vallejo washes sets. I've got a couple of washes, but he said to get this sort of stained look for the helmets, try the Vallejo sepia. So I ended up buying a box set of, I think it's about 10 of their washes in it. Always come in handy. So yeah, use that, and I don't know, I might want it a bit lighter for the actual line troops. But looking at pictures of the rifles, their helmets are really dark, stained, virtually brown. So it suits these, but I might want to try a different one for the regular line. But yeah, I really like these Warlord figures, to be honest. I was quite surprised. Nice figures. So yeah, that's the beginnings of them. There'll be 4 companies of those, so that'll be 48 of those, 60 of the redcoats. Yeah, so I'm really enjoying that. Really into it. I do absolutely love colonial period. Like I say, don't care what people say about British Empire. I think it was a great thing, and these people harping on about reparations, just jog on, will you? Absolute nonsense. Anyway, anybody who is offended by the Empire and my pro-Empire rant, you can at least, if you want to run away to a safe space and hug yourselves, you can do it in the comfort knowing that I've picked a conflict where the mighty British Empire got its arse handed to it multiple times by a bunch of farmers. And here are those farmers. That's all I've painted for the Boers at the moment. These are from Empress, all metals. You get the various packs. They do packs where you get like mounted and foot version, same figure. One good thing about these Empress, which is what prompted me to think, oh yeah, I will do Boers. The heads are all separate, so you get like 4 mounted, 4 foot. You get a few different variations there by changing the heads around. So, and they want to paint them different colour clothes, different colour horses. So you get a fair bit of variety, and they got about 3 or 4 packs of Boers, so you can get some good variety out of them. And then I've looked around and found, obviously Perry do a couple of packs. Black Tree do quite a few packs as well. And also I'm going to use Frontier Light Horse because it looks similar. I'll paint them as Frontier Light Horse, but they'll work just as well for Boer stand-ins really. So yeah, there will be plenty of variety, which was my main concern. So yeah, Empress, Haven't painted the eyes on this because the eyes, the way it's cast, they're actually, you know, proper holes in the head. If you try and paint anything in them, you're just filling a hole in. You can't paint the eyes, so he's going to have that hollowed skull look about him. Can't do anything about it. I think it's just on this thing. I think the other ones are alright. Yeah, that's him crouching. This is the mounted. Nice figures, Empress. Got a few now. I did buy some of their World War II Italians a year or two ago. Really nice. But yeah, bit of a mark there. Got paint over. But yeah, I like these. I've got their Dragoon Guards as well, and I've got some Natal Police coming as well, and Carabineers. Yeah, really nice Empress, like them. But anyway, I have ranted on and on and on. It's one of my longest videos. So thanks to anybody who's sat through this. Hope you like what I've done. Thanks for watching, subscribing, and basically take care and hopefully see you soon. Goodbye everybody.